Alright, people. Figured I'd do a video on a gun I've had for a little while. This is a gun I purchased from DK Firearms a little while ago, back in, I believe, September sometime. This, of course, is a Carcano variant, specifically the M91/28 Troop Special. I paid, I think, $249.99 for the gun, and then, of course, after shipping and transfer fee, of course, I paid less than $300. I think it was somewhere in the $290 range. Pretty cheap as far as surplus rifles go nowadays. There is quite a, I guess you would say a gold rush, as one YouTuber put it, the Koba 49. There's just a bountiful harvest of Carcanos right now in the surplus market. They're kind of all the rush, as you would say, and they are super cheap. I mean, you can find some of these from certain retailers for less than 250 bucks. Everyone and their mother is selling them. All of the big boy retailers. Classic Firearms, Royal Tiger Imports, DK Firearms, Bud's Gun Shop, Palmetto State Armory had them, and I believe J&G Sales even had them. And not had them, I think they all still have them in stock. These things have been in stock for at least half a year from all of these retailers at various points. So not only the various, a couple of troop special variants, the cavalry carbines as well. So a lot of Carcanos on the market right now. They are practically just flooded. The market is just flooded with these damn things. They're just everywhere, and they're cheap. I mean, these are the cheapest things on the market. They're cheaper than Mosins and whatnot now. It's ridiculous. And given the the things with COVID and Corona and the election cycle, these things are stupid cheap still. Really, the only real, honestly, sort of cheap milsurp on the market you can get at this point, honestly. So I'll give you some close-up shots. It's in pretty good shape overall. I was pleasantly surprised, although I guess I should have not really been surprised given the batch that these came from. I'll go into detail about that in a second. So, not bad. It's pretty damn nice, gotta say. I was pretty pleasantly surprised about it, the condition. So this is coming in supposedly from a big batch of rifles from Italy. Basically, everybody that's not Royal Tiger Imports are getting all of their guns from, I think, basically the same sort of batches or lots that are coming from Italy. The Royal Tiger Imports Carcanos, if you don't know by now, they have this big cache of guns from Ethiopia, of course. The Carcanos they're getting and they're selling are all from Ethiopia, and a lot of them are dogs. A lot of those Carcanos are not in particularly good shape. These, however, are not. The ones that basically everybody else is selling, to my knowledge, from what I've been told, are actually directly from Italy. And they came from basically Italian storerooms. All of these guns are actually, apparently are police surplus guns, is what I've read. So they're coming from the Italian Carabinieri, or however you pronounce it, the Italian police, basically. They're being imported by PW Arms, not Royal Tiger. And these lots that everyone else is selling are generally a lot nicer because they were stored properly in Italy for decades and were not stored in a literal goat barn in Ethiopia. So they're a lot nicer, honestly. A lot better shape. This one's pretty nice. I'll show you some imperfections, though. There is if I can focus on it, you can see there is a crack that was repaired right there underneath the bolt, and it's actually on the other side as well. Let me, if I can focus and get up on it, you can kind of see it there. If it will focus, that would be cool. Thank you. Very minor. It looks like they were both repaired. The cracks don't flex or move at all. So there is that. Gun is in really good shape. It didn't look quite like this when I got it. It was actually surprisingly pretty dirty. and caked in grease, cosmoline, whatever you want to call it. I had to take the gun completely apart and give it a very, very, very deep scrub and clean. Got most of it out. There is still a little bit of some cosmoline in the magazine area that I just wasn't able to get out. There's a little bit still sitting in there, and some of in the nooks and crannies of the gun, there is still some grease and whatnot. But it cleaned up pretty nice. It's in really good shape. Again, like I said, the bore is excellent. Excellent bore. I was really surprised about that. It did have a little bit of light surface rust when I got it. There was some very light, and you can actually kind of still see, perhaps, if it will focus. No, come on. Yeah, there we go. You can kind of see some trace evidence of it there. There was some light surface rust on the sides of the magazine. There was a little bit on the front barrel band. You can kind of maybe see a little bit of traces of it. Just a little bit. It also had the cleaning rod, which I was pretty excited about. Not all of these had cleaning rods, no matter who you got them from. There was no guarantee on the cleaning rod. There were people that reported they didn't actually get any. So that was kind of cool. Very happy I got a cleaning rod, so I didn't have to go out and buy one. Again, great bore, but again, a little dirty, a little greasy. Did require a nice, good clean. I oiled the stock up as well. Looks pretty nice. The action's not bad. It's going to be hard to do with one hand, but the action for Carcano is actually not bad. I've seen and felt worse. I actually own one that's worse. My full-length 1891 is pretty sticky, but my cavalry carbine and my M41 are a little bit smoother. But for a Carcano, it's actually pretty good. It's pretty solid. It is a refurb. I'll flip it over. At least the stock is a possible refurb or replacement. It has a fat 1947 dated stock. It is matching though. We have the serial number, of course, up here. It is matching. So I guess it's probably a replacement stock, or it might have gotten repaired. Maybe the repairs and then they just restamped it. Possibly. Or it's just a new stock that then they just serial matched the stock to it. I can also tell the handguard is not the original handguard, or maybe it is. It's a totally different color. I'm guessing they probably replaced the handguard at some point. It was probably cracked and they just threw a replacement handguard on it. Or this is actually the original handguard that matched the original stock, and this is the replacement stock. One of those two are the case, or maybe both. Maybe they're both replacements as well. Who knows? But that was cool that at least the stock is actually serial matched to the gun, no matter what. You don't see that too often. A lot of Carcanos will have non-matching stocks. So that was kind of cool to see. But what's really curious about the gun is it actually has a serial number. It was on the other side. Oops. It has actually a serial numbered barrel band that's not matching, and it does not match the receiver. So I guess it received a replacement rear barrel band at some point too. But that's all the serial numbers. Of course, Carcanos are not really serial numbered to begin with. My other Carcanos I own only have two serials. They have a stock and a receiver serial. That's it. I think there's also a serial number on the barrel on them. I can't remember. I actually didn't even check it if it had it. So I don't know if it's matching. It might not be, because this barrel is basically mint. And I'm wondering if it was maybe potentially rebarreled when it was refurbished in 47. It might have also received a new barrel too, potentially. But everything works. I haven't shot it yet. Sadly, haven't gotten around to it still. I have no doubts it'll shoot fine. It's not going to blow up or anything. It'll be perfectly fine. Now, getting the right ammo for it, of course, will be the hard part. We have the notorious PPU Carcano ammo, which is notoriously undersized and will keyhole typically. I do have some actual Norma. I actually bought some. I found some sort of older production Norma ammo that actually has the proper round nose. and is sized properly. So I'm excited to maybe try and shoot that out of my Carcanos and see how well it'll shoot. But it's in, I mean, I can't complain really. Again, everything works. Didn't really show you the rear sight. Very nice. Functions fine. Overall, pretty impressed, have to say. Again, if you want to buy one of these and it's not, you want one that's not totally looks like it's been drugged through the dirt, don't buy Royal Tiger Imports guns. Don't buy the ones from them. I think DK Firearms still has them in stock, and some of the others might too. And you're going to get one that's probably going to be in pretty good shape. Everybody that's bought one of these or the cavalry carbines from everybody that's not Royal Tiger has been, generally the consensus has been pretty positive. Most people have been pretty satisfied, no matter who they've bought them from. So I'm pretty satisfied with it. It looks very nice. Of course, don't have a sling for it. I can't find any Carcano slings anywhere. These are basically the only rifles I have left that I don't have slings for, because I just can't find even reproduction slings anywhere. It's kind of annoying. I do have a little bit of an issue here. When I put it back together, the front barrel band doesn't lock in. It's not like locked in. Now the barrel band's not moving though. It's like it's stuck. It's in there good, but it's like not locked in properly. And I couldn't get it to lock back in properly. Oh well. But overall, I have to say, pretty cool. This is essentially this sort of final variant of the troop specials. These are also the later ones that don't keyhole. So if you don't know, there's basically 3 different versions of the 1891 troop special. You have the original 1891s that were made in the 1890s and onwards into basically through World War I. Those look basically the same as this, but they have a different sort of front design here. They have a different sort of barrel band design. I think instead of having 2 barrel bands, they just have one. They basically just have one barrel band. And some of the earlier ones of those actually had a completely different bayonet mounting system that sort of twisted, locked and then twisted. And they used a totally different, their own sort of unique bayonet. They then later changed that later, I think during World War I. Then you have the second troop special, which was the 9124. And those were basically just original full-length 1891s that were chopped down. I think about 250,000 of them were chopped down into troop specials. Those basically look just like these, but they still have the full-length rear sight of the full-length rifle. This is the carbine rear sight. The 9124 and the 9128 are basically identical. They just have the different rear sight. The 9124s are also notorious for having severe accuracy problems because they literally just chopped the barrels off. And because of the specific groove twist rifling these things have, it caused these, the 9124s have horrible accuracy problems, and they keyhole, like past 25 yards or something, 50 yards. They basically keyhole. The Italians very quickly figured that out, and they're like, oh shit, we need to fix this. So then that's when this thing came along, the 9128, in conveniently 1928, and just fixed the problem. So they just built the gun from the ground up with the short barrel, and it fixed the problem, of course. So pretty much the same gun again, except for the rear sight. This one I actually forgot to mention is a tourney. It's a tourney, as if you can see there. You can see the tourney. I mean, actually probably be a good idea to flip it around. We have a, if it will focus, please. Thank you. Tourney, 1929. Second year of production, which is pretty cool. Pretty early one. Obviously, I forgot to mention, it's also very clearly been refurbished. I mean, the bluing on this thing is excellent. Pretty good bluing. And it looks like when it was refurbished in 47, it was probably reblued. So I would expect a lot of these Carcanos were probably, particularly the troop specials in the Cavalry carbines, like the one I have, were all refurbished and reblued. A lot of them were refurbished and reblued after the war. So, but that's the sort of history of the various troop specials. Of course, these were meant for, well, the name, for, you know, the names in the title, special troops. These were for vehicle crewmen, artillery crewmen, police. These were used by police, obviously, mountain troops, and various other sort of special, you know, special troops, literally. Anything that was not sort of a frontline soldier, or the cavalry, the mounted troops, which got their own carbine, of course. Pretty cool. And they're still available and pretty cheap. I think I want to say DK Firearms still has them. I know they at least still have the cavalry carbines. Pretty much everybody still has these. All the retailers I sort of rattled off, I think all of them still have these. If I'm not mistaken, at least if they maybe don't have these, they have the troop specials, or the cavalry carbines, or they might have one of the other troop special variants. They might have the 24s or the original 1891s. When I got on DK, I was like, DK, I think at the time had the cheapest price. I didn't want to buy the Royal Tiger ones because those were a lot rougher. And I think at the time when I bought it, DK had the cheapest price of everybody else. And they had the specific, you could actually get a specific troop special. Some of the other retailers just, it was luck of the draw. You would either get an original 1891, a 24, or a 28. It was kind of just luck of the draw. And I was like, well, I don't want to buy one from one of the other guys and get stuck with a 24. So I went over to DK and saw they had them, and they had them specifically. They specifically had, I think, the 1891s and the 28s specifically. So you could either buy a 24 or you could buy a 91 or 28. So I went with that one, and I was either going to get an 1891 or a 28. Happened to get a 28. I would have probably rather gotten an 1891, but I'm satisfied. As long as I'm not getting the 24, I don't really care. Just because the accuracy problems those things have. But I mean, really, who cares? A lot of the commercial Carcano ammo sucks anyway. So you don't shoot these guns for accuracy unless you're reloading for them. You're not going to shoot them for accuracy. So I guess it really didn't matter. But if I had to pick, I would have rather not get a 24. So that's what I did. And again, I didn't want to buy from Royal Tiger. Not necessarily knocking Royal Tiger, but their guns are rough. And honestly, I think they're sort of overpriced. So, and there's a lot of people that have had complaints with them. The guns they getting the wrong guns, getting guns that are awful, overpriced, terrible customer service, terrible packaging. Although I think some of those issues they have rectified, like the packaging and the customer service and shipping the wrong guns to people. I think those problems have been rectified. But the other ones, the terrible guns of questionable quality and the bad price, they sometimes overpriced quality, still persist, I think. But that's probably enough of me rambling. Overall, pretty cool, and they're still available. Either these or the cavalry carbines, basically everywhere, are still available. So I would highly recommend you get one. Carcanos, again, are sort of the hottest buy on the Milcert market right now. And I recommend you probably cash in while they're cheap. You can get these for literally, I mean, there's some people, I think I remember, I forget which company was selling them. Was it Axis Arms or something? Can't remember. But they had these things for literally like $200. They were selling some of the rougher ones they had. I think they were some of the rougher cavalry carbines. They were selling them for $199, I think. I was like, man, crazy. So that'll be about it. Thank you guys for watching. Pick one of these up if you like Carcanos. Very underrated rifles. Not garbage. I love them. I'm becoming quite a Carcano connoisseur, as they say now. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.